Welcome to the Bite-Sized Security Podcast, your source for practical online security advice. Join me, my guests, and sometimes my trained AI voice as I explore ways to protect your digital footprint against the growing cyber threats. From mastering better passwords to understanding encryption and VPNs, the Bite-Sized Security Podcast breaks complex topics into clear guidance. It's time to take control of your online presence. You're listening to the Bite-Sized Security Podcast, unlocking solutions for your digital life. Let's get to it. Today, we're tackling something a lot of us dread: tailoring our resumes for each job. It can feel overwhelming. I get it, and I recently tried out an AI tool that made this process a lot easier. And I want to share my honest experience with you. No flashy shortcuts, no false promises, just doing it right. So tailoring a resume is one of those things that can be incredibly daunting, especially when you're trying to make sure you stand out in a competitive job market. We've all been there, staring at the same lines, unsure if we're highlighting the right skills or including the right details. It can feel like an endless cycle of second guessing, but this time I decided to do something different. I used an AI tool called Claude, and the way it helped me was surprisingly refreshing. And I want to walk you through what made it so helpful and why I think it can make a real difference for others as well. So here's what happened. I used Claude AI as a kind of career coach. And right from the start, I made sure no embellishments, no exaggerations, just a real and honest evaluation. We've heard all those stories about AI going off the rails, making stuff up, and I wasn't about to let that happen. So I wanted this to be a genuine, something that could actually help me without crossing any lines. And you know what? It did just that in a really effective way. So let me walk you through how it worked, step by step. First, I uploaded my resume and Claude got to work. It wasn't just a quick scan or a shallow assessment. It went deep. It took the time to break down my strongest skills, roles I should consider targeting, areas where I can improve, and even gave me specific actionable feedback on my executive summary. And what made this really stand out was the clarity it provided. It wasn't just a list of what was good and what I needed to work. It was insightful, and it felt like it genuinely understood the career path I was aiming for. Claude highlighted the skills that were most relevant for the roles I was interested in, and it pointed out areas that I hadn't thought much about, like certain soft skills that could be more prominently featured. That kind of perspective can be a real game changer when you're trying to stand out. But the real test came when I used an actual job description. I asked, what would be a good match for this? And instead of just giving me a yes or a no, Claude provided bullet points on what worked in my favor, concerns about my fit, but explained why they might not be deal breakers, a clear argument for why I still had a shot. And let me tell you, it was incredibly helpful to have this kind of detailed response. Instead of just feeling unsure about whether I should apply, I had a nuanced perspective. I knew where my strengths lay, where I might face some challenges, and how to frame my experience in a way that could make me a competitive candidate. It wasn't about inflating my experience or trying to deceive anyone. It was about making sure my true value came through. Here's what really impressed me. It helped me tackle what I call the experience gap. You know that feeling when you're looking at a job and you think, I could do this, but my experience isn't quite the same. That doubt can hold you back. Well, Claude helped me see how my existing skills could still apply. It broke down the job description and showed me how my background, even if not a perfect match, had the right foundational elements that could transfer effectively. It gave me confidence, and that confidence made all the difference. It even crafted a cover letter that addressed that gap head on without making anything up. Instead, it highlighted my transferable skills and connected the dots I hadn't fully seen. It was like having someone show me how my experience could bring real value in a new context. And the best part, it didn't feel forced or artificial. It was authentic, and that authenticity made me feel good about applying for roles that I might not have otherwise, even considered or overlooked. And the best part, it did all of this in a simple, organized way, ready to copy and paste, no hassle. The suggestions were easy to understand and implement. I didn't have to spend hours reformatting or second guessing if it was doing more harm than good. It saved me time, but more importantly, It saved me from a lot of stress and uncertainty. This is important because today's job market is about more than just having the right skills. It's about showing why you're the right fit. And that takes a thoughtful approach. It's not about sending out hundreds of generic applications. It's about taking the time to make each one count. The days of mass applying and hoping for the best are over. Employers are looking for candidates who truly fit the role, and that means being intentional and strategic. One thing I want to emphasize, this isn't just about trying to hack the system. It's about being genuine and presenting yourself in the best light possible. And that's what made this experience so powerful for me. I wasn't trying to be someone I'm not or pretending that I had experience I didn't have. Instead, I was able to see and present the real value of experience I do have, and that felt incredibly empowering. So as we wrap up, here's a challenge for you. Next time you're applying for a job, don't go for the quick and easy mass application approach. Take a closer look at how you fit the role and make sure your resume and cover letter tell that story clearly. Whether you use an AI tool like Claude or not, taking that extra time could be the difference between getting lost in the pile and landing that interview. It's about quality over quantity. Each application should reflect why you are uniquely suited for that role. And if you do use a tool like Claude, approach it with honesty. Be clear about your goals and let it help you bridge those gaps thoughtfully. The job search process can be tough, but it's also an opportunity to learn more about yourself and grow. Use every tool at your disposal, but stay true to who you are. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend who's job hunting, and remember to subscribe for more practical tips. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing forward. We're all in this together, and every step we take brings us closer to where we want to be. Thanks for listening to another episode of Bite Size Security, the quick-hitting podcast serving bite-sized tips to boost your online safety. We covered a lot of ground today and easy-to-digest nuggets of practical cybersecurity advice. If you want to learn more ways to protect your data and identity online, be sure to subscribe for future episodes. We'll continue breaking down complex security topics into straightforward guidance anyone can apply. Visit our website, bitesizesecurity.show, for recaps and show notes from all of our podcasts. We hope these bite-sized cyber lessons have given you new tools in your digital security toolbox. This is your host signing off until next time. Stay safe in the digital world. You've been listening to Bite Size Security.